Hello all. Okay, so welcome back to Kittens Crafts. I'm actually recording this right on the heels of my last one. So what I wanted to do, one of the things that I've been wanting to do since I got this set of the oval cabochon with frames, is I wanted to make shakers. So we're going to make a small one. We're going to make this fairly quickly. We're just going to take our mold here. I'm going to use the underside and make a quick tray. We're just going to use, let me get my stuff out here. So we're just going to use some of the Resin Rockers hard type. Put some in a cup here. We're not making a super deep tray. We're not going to fill this all the way up. We're just making basically a shaker pendant. And there are ways of doing this on other molds, but I'm doing it this way. Oh, and that was just the black colorant from Little Windows. So I'm going to mix this up real quick. I have a little cup over here with all my toothpicks that have already been used, so I always have to like find which color I've already used. Try to keep it, because I don't like wasting anything, so I'll use something until I can't. So that was just a single drop of this black colorant into that much resin. I'm not good at measuring. I don't even cook really well with measuring. I cook really well, but I don't measure anything. I've actually had people that are like, oh, you have to write down this recipe, it's so good. I don't know what the recipe is. I know I can tell you what's in it. I cannot tell you how much of each thing is in it. Other than like broad terms like, hey, this has a half of a pack of this in it. But when it comes to like seasonings and spices and things like that, I don't know, there's some. I don't even use pinches. Oh, I do use pinches. Sometimes I'll say a pinch because that was how I was raised on how to cook. And I don't actually do boxed stuff. I do most of it from scratch. Okay, so I'm just hitting this real quick with my heat gun, trying to dissipate a few of the bubbles. We're not going to worry about bubbles in this one. We're just going to do a quick shaker. Love the smell of that Resin Rockers. Okay, so we're doing the beveled frame on this one. I want to be able to fit the shell down in there and glue it on. So I want that beveled. They're a little bit flatter than doing the rounded frame ones. So we're just going to do this really quick. And you can see that you can't actually see through that. So it's not, I don't have it super thick right now. And again, I'm not going to worry about bubbles for this particular go. And I'm going to zap that 120 seconds, 48 watts. And I'll show you the one that I made the other day. This one. That's pretty cute. And you can put whatever you want inside of these. I didn't put any liquid in there. You could, if you want to figure out how to zap it in there. But I just wanted it to be able to have that shaker noise. And this just has some little, I made some little strawberries, little mini strawberries and flowers, and then there's some glitter and some caviar beads. And I'm just going to make this one simple. I do have a little strawberry left over from making strawberries. My daughter loves strawberries, so I tend to have at least a couple of something strawberry related. See if I have anything else already made up over here. A couple of hearts. that I have made. And then this is actually a sample of the clay pieces from Resin Rockers. I got it with my last order for free. And where is that? There it is. Okay. I need that. I will tell you what that is here in just a minute. So I've got some caviar beads, but this little clay sample has some butterflies, has some hearts with the heartbeat on there, but it also has some little fake like sprinkles, so I was going to put those into this one. I wasn't going to put glitter in this time. We're just going to do this real quick and easy. And I have little shapes that I've got. I'm constantly making little dots and stuff for different reasons, and I just have a few sitting here on the side of me. So did that, making sure, and then we're going to do another quick layer on here. I'm not doing my focus right now because I wanted to be able to show you all the little bits that I have sitting there. So I'm doing another layer just to make sure that it's not super see-through. And you don't have to do black on the bottom of these. I mean, it's a shaker, make it whatever you want. And then I'm going to zap that again. Make sure that's fairly... I don't really want it super rounded. I'm just making sure it goes all the way around. There we go. I am not zapping it again because remember, this doesn't like heat, and if you zap the bottom of there for heat, you might end up with an issue. So I'm just doing that really quick. I'm getting all my things out here. So I've got these little shapes. We're gonna get some stuff out of this sample bag here. I have another one, but it had more Christmassy stuff than anything else. So I'm gonna grab a couple of butterflies. Got a purple one in there. What else we got in here? We got some, just like my caviar beads, there's some little, grab a yellow one. How about this blue sprinkle looking thing? I actually I will never probably buy the little fake sprinkles. I know that they have their purpose, but if it looks like a sprinkle, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to have to fight the urge to eat what I make. That's not really, I'm not going to try and eat what I make, but I don't know. There's just something about the little fake sprinkles that I'm not overly fond of. I mean, you can just see that they're just cut pieces of stick. What is this? Oh, we'll throw a flower in there, huh? A little rose. These little Bitcoin looking things, they make me laugh. I like the dollar things too, but I'm not putting those in there. Oh, good. We've got some more of these down here. I'm gonna grab more of these fake sprinkles, because why not? But yeah, you can put anything you want into your little shakers. I actually, for a long time, wasn't going to make shakers. And then the first couple of times I tried to make them, it was horrible, you guys. I was trying to do like a maze one, and I could not get that little thing to work. It was not going to shake for me. And I wasn't putting the right liquid inside of it. And then I looked up, you know, what do you put inside of these? And I don't know. The stuff that I came across, I don't think was right. I just, it was an awful thing. It was horrible. And so I put them on the side, and I have all these little shaker molds, and I was so sad about it because one of my kids wanted me to make them, and it had gone horribly wrong, so I was kind of like, I'm never making these things again. I'm trying to get some more of these little caviar beads out of here. I could get out a cup and just pour this in there instead of trying to dig them out, but I'm being stubborn. I'm being stubborn about pulling these out of here. I want these little guys. But yeah, eventually I did figure out how to make a shaker the right way and get it to work. But I tend to actually like the ones without the liquid inside of them. Just preference. I like how they sound. And I thought, well, shoot. Now that I have this mold, I can make ones that my kids can use as fidgets. Oops, that's a weird sound. Okay, here we go. So to pull out the trays on the bottoms, you want to kind of like loosen that up. I'm glad it sat there for a second because it is really warm. And then kind of push it through the bottom here. And then just get your thumb up underneath there. So there's our little tray. And we'll leave that off to the side. And now we're going to flip this over. And on the other side, I did try this a couple of different ways, but the best way to do it, so we're going to be that one, right? Yes. So this guy right here, we're going to be painting some the skim coat. That's what we're using to do this. Using the regular resin did not work very well because you need something that's a little bit more higher viscosity. So we're going to paint this on the inside here. Just go all the way around, trying to make it as smooth as possible. The first couple of passes, I'm just trying to get enough resin in there to make the shell. I'm using a bigger brush than I do for my detail ones. But yeah, we just want to get enough of this in here all the way up to the edges. Now when I use the other resin, the regular resin, once you try to get up here to the edges, it doesn't want to stay up there. It's just too thin, and it'll, especially when you go to cure it, it's just going to fall all back down to the center. So you want something that's a little bit thicker that's going to stay where you put it better. And when you use the skim coat, once you've painted it a nice thin layer on there, you're going to have an easier time with the next pass. So this first set, we're just trying to get it up to the lip. It doesn't have to be super pretty. I'm not being overly cautious about making bubbles with my paintbrush right now. We're just going to get it on there just to get that first layer going. Make sure it's all the way out to the edges. And then we're going to cure that and paint the next layer on there. We don't need it turned all the way up. We can just do 18 watts just for that shell. Like, I don't want to over blast it with UV when it's still super thin, just for right now. When we do the later on part, it'll be fine. I think that's enough little things to put in there, and then we'll put some of these little caviar beads in there. So I will be right back. Okay, so here we go. We're going to paint on our second layer of resin. If I pulled it off of there right now, I mean, I'd be able to pull it off, but it wouldn't be near thick enough to do what we want to do with it. Once you have your shell done, you're going to be able to glue that onto the tray, and then we're going to coat all of it again, just to strengthen it up. I love this skim coat. I'm actually using it more and more, so I probably use skim coat and the original hard type about the same amount. When I'm making my pieces for, you know, everyday pouring, I do the original, but for making some of my finer detailed pieces or things that have something like this, you know, it needs that thin but still hard enough to hold up. Or if I'm building, definitely if I'm building. So like if I'm putting parts together, okay, so we've got this next layer on, making sure that we are all the way up, all the way around. I'm also trying to make sure that that edge isn't just paper thin. That edge is the important part because that's where it's going to seal it together. When I was doing this the other day with glitter, it definitely makes a difference when you go to put it together and you've got your glitter and everything inside of your tray, and then you try to glue something on there. Yeah, it can be problematic if you don't have enough of an edge. So I'm just going to put these guys inside of this tray. We'll see how much we can fit in here. Put one of these. We've got to have our strawberry in there. It's actually, my daughter says it's strawberry. That is her own special way of saying it. I actually don't want the orange one in there. Is that silly? I do like the blue. And then I'll put some of these other, because we want, like, these are soft so you don't hear them as much, but the little caviar beads, I'll put, definitely want the green and the blue in there. And then I'm just going to put a few of these. Normally I would grab these out with like my paintbrush. You know, you put a little resin on there and you grab stuff. However, I don't want resin on what's in the middle. If you put resin on that, then you're going to have it clumping up inside of there. We're not trying to get them to glue together. Try to get some of these tiny ones. Oh. So I'm going to do the rest of these and then okay, and I will try to put the links for everything in the description box. Underneath the video where it says description, if you hit the more it should lift it out of there for you. But there's going to be things that I don't have links for. I mean, my free samples, there's not going to be a link for that. But go to Resin Rockers. They run deals all the time where you can get something for free with orders. So give it a shot. Okay, so we've done the 2 layers. I'm going to go ahead and pop this out. I'm just trying to pull the sides. And there it goes. Pull the sides and then pop it out. So now we've got all of our stuff in here. And I'm gonna zoom this in. We're gonna take hopefully I'll be able to show this whole thing for you guys. But we're gonna take the pieces and try to keep them as centered as possible. Keep those guys in the center. And then we're going to just take our skim coat and run around this edge here. You may end up with some of your little bits getting into the resin. It's not the end of the world, but I am trying my best not to have that happen. I'm going to turn this so that I'm not painting with my hand in front of the camera. So we're just going into that little crevice all the way around. And I'm not worried about getting it up kind of on the side of this frame, because I'm going to be doing the clear coat over the whole thing after it's all together. So now we're going to take our piece that is very thin and put it on there. It is very, very thin at this point, so be careful with that. But now we have our piece on there, and I'm going to go around again. I tried it before where I just put the shell down and then painted around it, but what happened was the inside edge would catch the pieces of like glitter and stuff, and so it would kind of get stuck in those edges. So now I paint around and then put the piece down and then paint around again. What's happening right now is it's actually getting stuck to my glove, but I'm trying to make sure it stays as still as possible. and I'm making sure it actually seals. So when putting that on there, there might be like some of the edges, if it didn't quite get all the way up to the sides, you might have edges that kind of have air to them. And what I'm going to do now is kind of press this down and hit it with my handheld. And I apologize, you can't really see, but I'm pressing down. Oh, I'm pressing down on here. And then hitting it. Okay, now it's down. We're gonna go all the way around. And then we're going to, and I got that UV light a long time ago. I may have put the link up in one of my videos, but I've had that for quite a while. My cat likes UV light. She finds it more interesting or something, because they can see more light wavelengths than people can. Okay, I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm trying to do it on camera, but having my table, my light set up, and being able to keep everything centered. There's a learning curve here. So I'm just going around and making sure that this is definitely sealed. Before I want to pick it up or do anything to it. Okay, and now we're going to put it inside of our lamp. If any of those caviar beads got down into the resin, I mean, that could happen, especially if it, I'm going to zoom back out, sorry guys. If that happens, like, we're going to end up with some of the caviar beads getting stuck to the sides, which is okay. Again, not the end of the world. I would rather it didn't do that, and I'm kind of hoping it didn't do that, but that doesn't mean that it didn't. So now I'm going to put all my clay pieces back into my little sample bag. I actually have a couple of these little sample bags because for things like this, I want to have like little things that I can put in there. I actually don't use clay pieces a lot. But I do use them. So being able to have just a little set of stuff. Okay. Now we've got that. Now we're going to take it out, and I wanted to show you guys this this little thing. If you've done nail art, you may recognize it's a little platform, and I've just got some adhesive putty on there. This is actually a godsend for me. Let me find the box. These are excellent for, they're magnetic, and they're for doing nails, but they're great for having like a resin piece on there, like especially when I'm doing fine detailing. I like having these. And this set actually, it has the flower, and then it has one of these so I can do multiple projects at once. All right. So the one thing about it is make sure you get some good adhesive putty, because sometimes the adhesive kind of comes off on the piece. But you can also put this on here and use something like this to level your piece if you're trying to do backing or anything like that. So now I'm going to take a different brush. And we're just going to paint the whole top here with our skim coat. And I'm going to go all the way around, all the way down to the edge here, so that the whole front is one big piece. There's actually a bunch of work going on outside. I don't know what is happening. Somebody must be doing some maintenance work on my road. Construction constantly anymore. They just built up a bunch of houses nearby, so now they're like doing a bunch of stuff on the roads in the area. We actually, I don't know if I want to give away too much of where exactly I am, but nearby there used to be a drive-in movie theater. It's fairly close by. But one of the things that I liked about it is when I would be working and on my way home, if you're stuck in traffic on a Friday night, and look over and see the big screen of the drive-in theater. Especially on Fridays, because that's the worst traffic. Everybody's trying to get out of town, go somewhere else. Okay, so again, I'm just doing all over. Trying to make this a bit stronger. And then we're going to put a loop on the back. And you can put any kind of loop you want, really. But make this into a pendant or into, I don't know, just attach it to something. Make a key ring. This one's fairly small for a key ring, but not everybody likes big bulky key rings. My husband makes fun of me because I have a lanyard with some pretty decent sized keychains. And he makes fun of me because there's all this stuff on there. And he's like, you just need your keys. Like, he doesn't like anything on his key rings other than keys. And I'm like, yeah, but if I find a key ring with just keys on it, then I gotta figure out which one it is. I actually have different keychains depending on which ring of keys I'm using. So I'm just gonna let that settle for a second. Because it's the skim coat, it's going to be thicker and take a little bit longer to settle into where it's going. So now I'm going to put this underneath my light. No, I don't like that edge. I just don't like how this edge is looking. Trying to not have it be super lumpy. That's better. I'll go around just to kind of smooth out this joint here. I don't want it to get there. I like that a little better. So yeah, we'll hit that with our light. And I'll be back. Okay, so now we are back. And I'm not going to do the whole like final coat on the back here. I'm just going to place this right here. Try to have it kind of centered. It is concave because I'm not done with it yet. But I'm just showing you how it's done. Or how I do it. Not how it's done. Everybody has different ways of doing things. And then I'm going to take this, just a little bit of my skim coat. So now that it's solid on there, I can paint it better. So take this, paint it on there. I'm not going to show you me painting the whole back, because you guys don't need to see all of that. But then blast it. And there you go. Now you got your shaker. Let's see, did we get any that got stuck? We did. So there's a couple of the tiny ones that got stuck. Either that or they're... No, they're stuck. Okay, so we do have a couple that are stuck in there, but that's okay. I mean, it's a shaker. It's still fun. And that is how I make that. So I'll be moving on to something else with my next video. You'll just have to come back and see what it is. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being here. Please hit the like button for me. Help me to grow. I'll keep learning. Any tips or tricks that you have for me in this process, let me know in the comments. See you next time.